first wife, $1,500,000+. And the Navy was none of them would pay. I submit to you that divorce you're going to hear about. And you're going to hear about it from the understanding of why him and Mindy were on the run. I submit to you, Mindy will be afraid. I submit to you, he fooled her too. I submit the evidence is going to show that her close family and friends are going to tell you that she was afraid. She bought it. And she paid for that with her life. I submit to you, you're going to hear that there was a new woman. That Mr. Kassotis, before he even had this death, was already moved on. He started talking to a new woman. She didn't know. You're going to hear she did not know he had a life. She was not from here. She was not in any way aware of what was going on. And then he tricked her too. And you're going to hear that he was running as quick as he could away from Georgia. You're going to hear that they got remarried. She was found on December 2nd, that he was already engaged by February, and that he was already married by April. That he changed his name several times in multiple states. I submit to you, he didn't want to pay that money. That's what you're going to hear. And you're going to hear how he tried to seal off the loose ends. Changing his name, he burned the car. I submit to you, that's what the evidence will show. To the ground. March. Brand new 464. That's what the evidence is going to show. So let's talk for just a moment about the charges. You're going to hear that the state has charged the defendant, and you're going to listen to the court. So anything I say about the law, if there's any discrepancy, you follow Judge Rose. Malice murder, intent to kill. Every blow is an intent to kill. When you're striking somebody in the head. Do we know if that killed her? No, we don't. But we know that all of those contributed to her death. You're going to hear that from the pathologist, medical doctor. You're going to also hear felony murder, which is aggravated assault, where you intend to cause harm, serious bodily injury, but it ultimately kills them. So even if you don't think for a moment that each blow was intended to kill, felony murder is if I intended to assault, then they die. It's felony murder. You're going to hear something about venue, where she was killed. Counsel pointed out quite a bit about what the state doesn't know. We don't. And the law in the state of Georgia, and you're going to listen to Judge Rose, specifically instructs on venue. It talks about either the county in which the cause of death was inflicted, which in this case, you're going to hear everyone say they don't know exactly when she took her last breath. Because her body was dismembered and tossed over 3 miles. But they also, under the law, it says, if a dead body is discovered in this state and cannot be readily determined in what county the cause of death was inflicted, it shall be considered that the cause of death was inflicted in the county in which the dead body was discovered. The law anticipates cases like this. And I submit to you that's what we have. Mindy's body was eliminated. That's why we're here. You're also going to hear about concealing the death of another, trying to hide the death itself. You're going to hear about possession of the knife, and you're going to hear about more than one knife. The deer processing kit and the knife itself, that Milwaukee knife. And I submit to you, you have to get through the flesh to get to the bones. And you're going to hear the tool mark expert explain, you can't do tool marks on flesh. You're going to hear about possession of tools for the commission of the crime. Those would be the Ford Explorer itself for transporting the body, the insulation knife to get access to the bones, the deer processing kit to potentially cut through the bones, and the tubs that were used to transport her, the shovel that was used to bury her head and partially one of her legs, and the removal of body parts. Because they got moved all over. You're going to see them all over that map. And then the tampering, those cleansing wipes, trying to get biological evidence. I submit to you, ladies and gentlemen, a prosecutor would know that. I ask you, ladies and gentlemen, to bring your common sense. Follow the law. And give justice to me. Thank you.
All right, thank you, counsel. If you would please call the first witness. Yes, sir. Take about a 10-minute recess, so if you would please step out with the bailiff, and we'll have you back in here shortly. Thank you. All right, let's bring the jury in, please. Yes, sir. All right, everyone, please be seated. Please call the first witness.
Olin Lovett.
Mr. Lovett, please raise your right hand.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
Please have a seat.
Would you state your name, please?
David Olin Lovett.
What do you go by? What are your friends?
Olin, O-L-I-N.
Mr. Lovett, where do you live?
Statesboro.
How long have you been living
All my life.
there? How old are you?
I'm 62.
Are you employed?
Yes, sir.
Where do you work?
Lovett Mills Excavating. Self-employed.
What kind of business is that?
Earthwork, dirt heavy equipment, construction.
You married?
Yes, sir.
How long have you been married?
35 years.
You have kids?
Yes, sir.
How many?
3.
Oh. What's the oldest, what's the youngest?
35 and 27.
Boys or girls?
All boys.
What's the oldest son do?
Builds cabinets.
The middle son?
Works for fire, retardant company.
And the youngest son?
He worked for me
Okay.
in construction business.
Are you affiliated with any house of worship in Boulder County?
Yes, sir. Statesboro worships.
And how long have you been affiliated with that?
Just 2 years till we just started this church.
Before that, were you affiliated with?
First United Methodist Church.
And how long were you
All
with
my
it?
life.
Okay. Are you familiar with the Portal Hunting Club?
Yes, sir.
What is that?
That's a hunt club, been in existence since 1900 in below Riceburg down here.
How long have you been a member?
15 years,
How big is that hunting area?
13,000 acres.
Is there an older hunting club in Georgia?
No, sir.
Is there a clubhouse on that property?
Yes, sir.
Describe for the jury that clubhouse.
It's a block building, probably 40 by 70, with 4 bedrooms and a big kitchen in the back, and a den in the middle with a big fireplace.
And how does that clubhouse get used?
When we hunt, that's where we stay. You know, most everybody's from Statesboro Portal, which is right above Statesboro, so we all stay there in the bedrooms. There's 4 bedrooms.
So you say most of the members are from Statesboro?
Yes, sir.
Why is there a hunt club in Statesboro?
There is, but just we like to get away, you know. Try to stay out of trouble, but obviously.
Let me direct your attention to Friday, December 2nd, 2022. Did you have occasion to be on the Portal Hunting Club property on that day?
Yes, sir.
Was there something special about that weekend?
I don't think so. Was that the weekend after Thanksgiving?
Okay. Were you with any other hunters?
A group of us, yes, sir. Probably 30 people.
Now, describe for the jury when you're down there hunting, how the hunting takes place.
We usually surround the block and then turn dogs out for strategic places and try to jump a deer, run a deer. That's what happened.
Okay. And did you have another hunter nearby where you were?
Yes, sir.
Who was
Next
that?
thing, David Brandon, he was down probably a couple hundred yards from.
So while you were out there hunting, did you see deer?
Yes, sir.
Did you take a shot?
I did.
What happened after you took a shot?
I killed it.
On the spot?
Yes, sir.
Then, what do you do after you shoot the deer?
Well, I was just went down there to look, and David, my next stander, he came down with me, and we walked down there and saw the deer, and that's when I saw the torso in the ditch, and I thought it was a hog, because there's a bunch of wild hogs down there, and I just thought it was a hog, and then I looked at the deer, and we went over, he said, "What's that?" And we went over and looked at it, and it wound up being a torso.
Did you touch it or do anything with it?
It was down in the ditch, in the water.
Showing you now was marked as case exhibit number 2.1. You recognize what this is a picture of?
Yes, sir.
What is the picture
That's a
of?
picture of the torso we found.
Does it fairly and accurately depict the torso as you saw that day?
Yes, sir. I really don't remember but one arm. I don't know if this arm was under the water or what.
I'll tender at this time states exhibit 2.1.
It is,
And I would ask that this. All right, thank you. Mr. Lovett, acting. Apparently they can't see it.
Cameras are on.
Just showing the blank screen.
Is that a light screen still?
Yes.
and Paul?
Yes.
Yeah, we're,
That's fine. Mr. Lovett, what did you do after you discovered that?
we went back to the clubhouse and told some senior members, and they called the sheriff's office. 911.
How far is the clubhouse from where you found the torso?
Probably 2 miles.
And after you asked somebody to call the police, then where did you go?
I stayed at the clubhouse until they called us back down
Okay, and ultimately you went back down there
Yes,
around the
sir.
time the police arrived?
there. Yes, sir.
Do you know Philip McCallum?
I do.
Was Mr. McCallum out there that day?
He was.
For so long as you were in the presence of that torso, did you or any of the other hunters touch it?
Oh, no.
Do you recall about how long it took the first officer to get there?
Not long at all. Probably 15, 20 minutes at the most.
When that first officer arrived, was the torso in the same condition as you saw it?
Yes, sir.
While you were there, did you see the police put up crime scene tape?
Yes, sir.
And when the tape was put up, did you and the other hunters move outside the crime scene tape?
Yes, sir.
And were you there when Philip McCallum found something?
Yes, sir.
Did you see what he found?
Yes, sir.
What was it?
A toe turned upside down, if I remember correctly.
That's all the questions I have.
All right, counsel, cross-examination.
Just briefly, Mr. Lovett?
I'm Doug Weinstein, I represent Mr. Kassotis. Just a few questions for you. How long have you been hunting?
All my life.
And that year, I guess 2022, when was the hunting season that year?
Like third Saturday in October till about the second Saturday in January.
How do you know it was hunting season?
That's kind of a silly question, to be honest with you. I mean, our life surrounds that.
It's not a secret that it's hunting season, right?
Indeed.
You don't need to show some special handshake to know it's hunting season,
No,
right?
sir. No, sir.
Okay, thank you. I have no further questions.
I have no further questions.
Thank you, sir. Very appreciate it.
Thank you.
State calls Anthony Brown.
Good morning, sir. Good morning. Before you seated, please raise your right hand and take the oath.
Do you swear and affirm that the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. Please have a seat.
Could you state your name, please?
Anthony Brown.
How are you currently employed?
With the Liberty County Sheriff's Office, but assigned to the U.S. Marshal Task Force.
What do you do when you're assigned to the U.S. Marshal Task Force?
We're responsible for tracking fugitives.
Now, before you were in civil law enforcement, were you in military law enforcement anyway?
Yes.
Where?
United States Army.
From when to when?
From 2002 to 2008.
And what were your duties as law enforcement in the Army?
Served on patrol as a military police and also as a desk sergeant at Fort Monroe.
In total, how long have you been a law enforcement officer? Dispatched to go somewhere.
Out in Rice, in a ditch, and
To the torso.
Well, we didn't meet at the clubhouse. We met at, if I remember correctly, it was at Sandy Run and Barrington Ferry. It had to be less than a mile, maybe a mile, close to something like that.
When you got to the scene, what did you observe?
When I arrived on scene, I saw some other vehicles parked on the road that we drove down. There was also some other hunters that was standing around near a ditch.
I'm showing you now what's marked as State's Exhibit 2.2. Do you recognize what this is?
Yes.
What is this?
That appeared to be my patrol vehicle with the hunters that I made contact with on the road that we drove down to get to the body.
This looks like about the time you arrived on the scene.
Yes.
Does it fairly and accurately depict the scene as you observed it as you arrived?
Yes.
I'll tender into evidence State's Exhibit 2.2.
Any objection?
Just take a look. No objection.
It's admitted.
I'm going to show you what's marked as State's Exhibit 2.1, which previously been admitted. You recognize what this is photographed of?
Yes.
What is it a picture of?
It appeared to be the body that was in a ditch upon my arrival there.
With the court's permission, can we publish Exhibit 2.2 to the jury?
Yes, sir.
Are you familiar with this area where the torso was found?
No, I had never patrolled that area. Even though it was in my jurisdiction, I had never drove into the hunt club.
And what is your jurisdiction?
My jurisdiction at the time was Liberty County, the county as a whole.
And the torso was found in Liberty County?
Yes.
After you arrived, what was some of the first things that you directed the other officers to do?
So the next officer on the scene was Corporal Martin. I advised him to put up a crime scene tape so that we can block it off to start a crime scene log for anybody coming in and out of the crime scene.
And when that crime scene tape was put up, where were the hunters directed to go?
After I spoke with them and took down their names, they was escorted out of the crime scene.
You mentioned something about a crime scene log.
Yes,
Who maintained that log?
I did.
I'm showing you what's marked as State's Exhibit 2.3. And ask if you can identify them.
Yes.
What is it?
It appeared to be the crime scene log that I started while on the scene.
And is it true and accurate copy of the original that you prepared?
Yes.
I'll tender this time State's Exhibit 2.3.
No objection.
It's admitted.
You can publish State's Exhibit 2.3.
Can you see 2.3 from your monitor?
Yes, sir.
Was a detective from the Liberty County Sheriff's Office called to the scene?
Yes, sir.
And who was that detective?
Jack Frost?
And when did Jack Frost arrive on scene?
If I could refer to my report, please.
Can you see it on the screen, or would you rather have paper?
So the time into the crime scene was 17:13 hours, which is 5:13 p.m. Yes, sir. 5:13 p.m. is the time he entered the crime scene.
And you have listed in your report the hunters that were already there when you arrived?
Yes, sir.
Do you have them listed by name?
Yes, sir, by name.
Could you report to the jury the names of the hunters you found on the scene when you arrived?
Yes, sir. It was George Kell, David Lovett, David Branning, Casey Durden, Gerald Kell, Philip McCollar, and Thomas Stedman.
And what do you show the time that they were on scene?
The time that I showed for those personnel was 16:45, which is 4:45 p.m.
I heard you call out the name of Philip McCollar. Was he one of the hunters?
So he was one of the personnel on scene at the time. So
Were you present when Mr. McCollar found something?
yes, I was.
Do you recall what it was he found?
Yeah. So at one point we walked back towards Barrington Ferry Road from the road that we were on. And while we were sitting there talking, he noticed a knife at the edge of the wood line where the road meet with Barrington Ferry.
Objection, you can say about what the other officer noticed.
I'll sustain the objection.
Based on what you were told, did you go to a location and see something?
Yes.
What did you see?
Saw a knife at the edge of the wood line where it meets Barrington Ferry Road. And there was also some Tupperware type bins that was there also.
Was that inside or outside the crime scene tape that was initially put up?
At the time, it was outside.
And did that change the location of the crime scene tape after that was discovered?
Yes, at that time, I directed my patrol guys to push the crime scene tape back up to Barrington Ferry Road beyond the evidence that we were looking at.
At some point, was a decision made to call in the GBI to investigate?
Yes,
Were you present when Agent Sands arrived on scene?
yes.
Based on your crime scene log, what time did Agent Sands arrive?
1959 hours, which is 7:59 p.m.
That's all the questions I have.
One cross-examination.
Yes, thank you.
I'm sorry, Mr. Brown, what's your proper title?
Lieutenant?
Lieutenant Brown. Okay, I apologize.
Thanks, sir.
Lieutenant Brown, my name is Doug Weinstein. I represent Mr. Kassotis in this case. You testified that when you got to the initial scene, when you first pulled up, there were other vehicles on the scene.
Yes, sir.
How many other vehicles were there?
I do not recall.
More than 2, more than 5?
It had to be more than 2 because there was vehicles on the scene to include the caller who took me to the scene, I believe.
And what kind of road is that? Do you remember if that's a paved road or a dirt road?
It's a dirt road. It was a dirt road.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And what efforts were made to secure the road itself?
Meaning like the crime scene?
To keep vehicles from driving. Were any efforts made to keep vehicles from driving up and down that road?
So we allowed those vehicles to leave off of there, but after that, no other vehicles were allowed on the road, yes, sir.
And how far was the torso found from the road?
I don't recall the approximate distance.
Okay, thank you, Lieutenant.
Yes, sir.
No further questions.
I have no further
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Judge.
I'm sorry, may we approach?
Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, I do need you to step out for a few minutes. We'll take a short recess, please. Please be seated. The council will approach again. All right, let's bring the jury back in. Our jury's back in place. Everyone, please be seated. Please call the next witness.
Philip McIntyre.
Philip McIntyre. Please raise your right hand.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. Please be seated.
State your name, please, for the jury.
Philip McIntyre,
How do you spell your last name?
McCallar.
Where do you live?
Recently moved to Shelby Bluff, Georgia.
Before that, where did you live?
Fleming, Georgia.
How long have you lived here in Georgia?
48 years.
How old are you?
48.
Where do you work?
Daybreak Industrial.
And what kind of business is that?
I'm in the land clearing section of it.
How long have you been employed by that operation?
February of 2021.
Before that, how were you employed?
Coastal Industrial Contractors.
And how long did you work with them?
2 years maybe.
Before that?
Coastal Electric Cooperative.
And how long you worked with them?
20.
20 years?
Yes, sir.
What was your job position?
I was a lead line technician.
You married?
Yes, sir.
How long have you been married?
September will be 25 years.
Have any kids?
One
Girl or boy?
girl,
How old?
22.
Are you a member of any volunteer organizations?
Coastal Conservation Association.
And what does that organization
Pretty much helps protect the coastal marshlands.
do? You familiar with the Portal Hunting Club?
Very familiar with it.
How are you familiar with
I've been hunting there since 2010.
it? How old is that club?
1900 it was founded.
Is there an older hunting club in Georgia?
No, sir.
Who was that club established by?
A group of fellows from Portal, Georgia.
What's that year?
Statesboro, Bullitt County.
And why would Bullitt County people establish a hunting club down here?
In 1900, there were no deer in Bullitt County.
The majority of the members of that hunting club are from where?
Bullitt County.
Were you on the hunting club property on Friday, December 2nd, 2022?
Yes, sir.
And why were you down there?
Because I hunt every Friday and Saturday during hunt season.
Was that a special hunting weekend?
We hunt every weekend from October the 19th to January the 15th. We hunt.
Describe for the jury how those hunts take place.
We dog hunt. So we'll have a block of land that's got a road completely around it. We'll put standers all the way around the road, and we'll send the dogs in it, and the dogs run the deer out, and the people on the road shoot the deer.
I'm showing you now with marked as States Exhibit 2.4. You recognize that?
Yes, sir. That's my truck.
What's in the truck?
Dogs.
Your dogs?
Some of them probably are. Some of them probably somebody else's, because we all get together in this but the majority of those are mine, yes, sir.
Does it fairly accurately depict those dogs in the back of your truck on December 2nd, 2022?
Yes, sir.
I've shown this previously to council.
It's in the, it's 2.4.
2.4, and I would ask that it be published. You see it in your screen?
Yes, sir.
Did you run into Olin Lovett while you were there?
Yes, sir.
And did Olin Lovett report to you that he had discovered something?
Objection.
I'm not asking for what he said. Did he report something to you?
No, sir.
While you were on the scene, did you observe State's Exhibit number 1? Here it is. You recognize this photograph has previously been admitted into evidence?
Yes, sir.
As State's Exhibit 2.1, what is that?
That's the torso that we found in the ditch.
And what did you do after this was discovered, you personally?
I stayed there until the law arrived, and when the law arrived, I was escorted to the head of the road for questioning later.
Did you touch the torso?
No, sir.
Did anyone in your presence touch the torso?
No, sir.
And you stayed there until law enforcement people arrived?
Yes, sir. The first deputy arrived. I was there when he arrived, yes, sir.
Showing you now is marked as State Exhibit number 2.5, which has previously been shown to council. You recognize this picture?
Yes, sir.
What's this a picture of?
That's where we was at before the law got there, or when the law got there, that's where we was, found the torso.
How close to the torso are these people standing?
10 yards, maybe. It's in the ditch off the road right there.
How close to the roadway was the torso?
2 foot, 3 foot.
Close.
Yeah.
There's some markings on here. It looks like somebody wrote names on here. Do you know who wrote those names?
I did.
When you looked at this picture before trial, does it fairly and accurately depict the hunters that were on the scene that day?
Yes, sir.
I'll tender State's Exhibit number 2.5
No objection. It's admitted.
and ask that it be published.
Amen.
Can you see that on your screen?
Yes, sir.
And the fellow wearing a yellow shirt, it looks yellow, that's you, right?
Yes, sir.
And you're pointing in some direction. Where are you pointing towards?
That's back towards the main county road, I believe.
And where would the torso be in this picture in relation to where you're standing?
That could, directly behind me.
Now, were you present when there was crime scene tape put up around the scene?
That was put up when we was escorted back to the main road.
Okay. And how long did you stay at the scene?
At the actual scene here,
Yes.
I was probably there an hour.
Okay. While you were at the scene, did you discover anything?
Not there, no, sir.
Where was it that you discovered something?
After we had been escorted back to the main road where we was told to wait on other law enforcement to get there.
And what did you discover?
A tote and a knife.
I'm showing you what's marked as State's Exhibit number 2.6, which has previously been shown to council. You recognize that?
Yes, sir.
What's the picture of?
That's the tote that I found.
Can you see a knife?
It should be to the right side of it. Back here.
So you see it?
Yes, sir.
What color is it?
It was orange.
Is it fair? It's Exhibit 2.7, which has previously been shown to council. Do you recognize this?
Yes, sir.
What's the picture of?
The knife that I found beside the tote.
And it looks like there's white stuff on
There was a
there.
paper towel or rag or something I didn't get real close to
Does it fairly and accurately depict the
Yes, sir.
knife and the rag that you observed that day?
it. Yes, sir.
Did you touch the knife or the tote?
No, sir.
I'll tender State's Exhibit number 2.6 and 2.7.
Any objections? Right there, admitted.
If we could publish 2.6. Can you see 2.6 on your screen?
Yes, sir.
And the knife is approximately where in relation to that tote?
It was to the right back.
Behind it?
Yes, sir.
And the color of the blade on that knife in the picture looks to be what?
Blackish, kind of.
Any other color?
There was some round on the handle.
We can now publish State's Exhibit number 2.7. You see that on your screen?
Yes, sir.
That's the knife that you discovered?
Yes, sir.
When you discovered it, what did you do?
Advised the deputy that was there with us.
So all this occurred on Friday, December 2nd, 2022, correct?
Yes, sir.
Did you have occasion to return Saturday?
I did.
For what purpose?
To hunt again.
And while you returned on Saturday, did you discover anything?
Yes, sir.
What did you find Saturday?
A leg.
Where was the leg?
Approximately 2.5 miles from where we found the torso further, and the leg was actually in McIntyre County.
How far off the roadway was the leg?
20 yards.
How did you find
Buzzard flew up, and I got out the truck to see if somebody had shot a deer and not find it, and it was a leg, not a deer.
it? So I'm showing you now State's Exhibit number 2.8, 2.9, and 2.10, which have previously been shown to council. Showing you first State's Exhibit 2.8. What's that a picture of?
That's the picture of the leg I found.
Okay. State's Exhibit number 2.9.
Same leg.
Just a little closer. State's Exhibit 210.
Same leg.
Put it closer.
A little closer.
Do each of these exhibits fairly and accurately depict the leg as you saw it that day?
Yes, sir.
I'll tender at this time, take State's Exhibit 2.8, 2.9, and 2.10. No objections.
They're all admitted.
With court's permission, I'd like to publish State's Exhibit number 2.8.
You may.
Can you see that on your screen?
Yes, sir.
Now, if we publish State's Exhibit 2.9. Can you see that on your screen?
Yes, sir.
And State's Exhibit 2.10.
Yes, sir.
And I can't remember if you already answered this, about how far did you say the leg was from the torso?
I'd say 2.5 miles.
Okay. Thank you, that's all the questions that I have.
Thank you. Cross-examination?
No questions.
All right, thank you, Mr. McCallum.
Thank you.
State calls John Murphy.
John Murphy. Good morning, sir. Please raise your right hand.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you
John Murphy.
Mr. Murphy, how are you currently employed?
I am retired currently.
What do you do to occupy your time while you're retired?
I'm a member of the South Carolina Canine Search Team.
What is that?
It is a team designed to use canines to track both human remains and live find. So lost persons or deceased persons.
You're retired from what?
I'm a previous law enforcement officer,
In all, how long did you spend in law enforcement?
about 16 years.
So let me direct your attention to Monday, December 5th, 2022 at about 11 o'clock a.m. Did you have occasion to be on the property of the, on Branson Cemetery Road?
Yes, sir.
Where's that located?
In Liberty County.
Okay. And why were you at that location?
We had been requested by the Liberty County Sheriff's Office to assist in the search for a deceased person.
A whole person or parts?
No, we had been informed that a portion of the body had already been found and recovered, but there were still some pieces missing.
Do you know specifically what pieces you were looking for that day?
A leg and the head.
I'm showing you at this time a photograph labeled States Exhibit 2.11, previously shown to council. Do you recognize that?
Yes, sir.
What's that?
It is a human leg, left leg.
Showing you now what's marked as States Exhibit 2.12. Do you recognize that?
The same leg.
States Exhibit 2.13.
Yes, sir, same leg. A close-up of the foot.
Do all three of these exhibits fairly and accurately depict the way that left leg appeared to you that day?
Yes, sir.
I'll tender States Exhibit number 2.11, 2.12, and 2.13.
Any objection? No objection. They are admitted.
I would ask that States 2.12 be published, 2.12 be published. Do you see that photograph on your screen?
This is 210.
Okay. Try 2.12.
Yes.
And now 2.13, please. Do you see it?
Yes, sir.
Could you detect any movement in the area of damage to the foot?
It appeared that some small animal had consumed a part of the foot.
Did you continue looking after you found the leg?
Yes, sir. We returned back to the road where the dog had left to find the leg and continued our search.
Did you find anything?
Yes, sir.
What did you find?
As we continued down the road, dog found a Rubbermaid tote or plastic tote that was back in some bushes. He changed behavior, showed interest in it, and eventually gave a train finder response. I walked over and looked, and inside the bottom there was a red substance that I presumed to be blood.
I'm showing you now what's marked States Exhibit 2.14. You recognize that?
Yes, sir.
What is it?
That is the tote.
Does it fairly and accurately depict the tote as you found it?
In this picture, it's moved. It was further back in the bushes from where this picture was taken.
Other than it being further back in the bushes, does it fairly and accurately depict the tote?
Yes, sir.
In States 2.15, do you recognize that?
Yes, sir. That's the interior with the liquid in the bottom.
And does it fairly and accurately depict the inside of the tote?
Yes, sir.
I'll tender at this time States Exhibit 2.14 and 2.15. No objection.
All right, they're both admitted.
After you found the tote, what did you do?
There were two deputies that were flanking us. In both cases, when the dog alerted on the leg and on the tote, they communicated to the crime scene investigators. I'm assuming that was the GBI that was also on scene.
Did you hang around until the GBI got there?
No, sir. We continued our search.
Did you find anything else after the tote?
We were tasked with searching a couple other areas. We went to the area where the original leg was found, COA alerted on the area where the leg was buried. There was also the lid for that tote was on the other side of the road, or what I assumed was the lid for that tote. We were then tasked with going to where the torso was found, and COA alerted on the same area where the torso had been recovered, and also alerted in a ditch where some clothing was discovered.
You're referring to COA?
COA is the K9.
Okay, how do you spell that?
KOA.
All right, thank you, that's all the questions that I have.
Weinstein?
Briefly, Your Honor. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Doug Weinstein. I represent Mr. Kassotis in this case. I want to go back to the tote that you found. You say that it had been moved from where it was originally found. Where was the tote originally found?
The bushes directly behind it, it was pushed into those bushes. I'm assuming that when they took the picture, they had already pulled it out.
Well, okay.
When the dog found it, it was in the bushes.
I understand. Did you see it? Did you remove it from the bushes?
No, sir, I didn't touch it.
Did you see anyone remove it from the bushes?
I did not see anybody remove it from the bushes.
So you don't know how it got removed from the bushes,
I
correct?
do not.
Okay, thank you. No further questions.
I have no further questions.
All right, thank you, sir, you're excused.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. All right, ladies and gentlemen, another 10-minute recess. If you would, please step out of the booth. talk about that at lunch.
No, I meant.
I'll just see where we are. Yeah. All right, everyone, please be seated. And please call the next witness.
Your Honor, at this time, the state would call Special Agent Brett Dickerson of the GBI.
All right, sir, please raise your right hand and take the oath.
Do you swear and affirm the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. Please have a seat.
Thank you. Good morning, Agent Dickerson.
Good morning.
Can you please state and spell your name for the court reporter?
My name is Brett Dickerson. It's BRETTDICKERSON.
What do you do for a living, sir?
I'm a special agent with the Georgia Bureau of Investigation.
And have you worked for any law enforcement agencies other than the Georgia Bureau of Investigation?
Yes, ma'am. I started my career with the Sheriff's Office in Scriven County.
And just so that we kind of try to abbreviate this some, do they go by the GBI?
Yeah, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, yes, ma'am, GBI.
So I'm not going to say Georgia Bureau of Investigation 100 times, so can we call it the GBI?
Sure thing.
Okay. And you said, where did you work before that?
The Scriven County Sheriff's Office in Sylvania, Georgia.
Okay. How long did you work for them?
About 21 years.
And before that?
That was my first law enforcement job.
Okay. And what did you do at Scriven?
I wore a lot of hats. So I started off working in the jail, also dispatched, and then later on went to the police academy and obtained certification as a peace officer in the state of Georgia. Worked in the road patrol division until 2007. At that point, I also graduated from Georgia Southern University and moved over to the criminal investigations division where I was an investigator. Served as an investigator from 2007 until 2018 when I was promoted to chief deputy of the agency and served there until I left.
Okay. So that was all in Scriven?
Correct.
Okay. And when you left Scriven County after 21 years, where did you go?
The GBI.
Okay. Tell the jury what and how you become a GBI special agent.
Well, there's an application process, obviously. It's fairly extensive. Took me about a year or so to get on between the backgrounds and everything.
In that capacity, did you have any training that was in addition to your training from Scriven?
Correct. So once I was hired, we attended the basic agent course, which is usually around 14 weeks. And during that time, you're in residence at the Georgia Public Safety Training Center, and you're given the training needed to become a special agent.
Okay. And as a special agent, do you have any particular roles, or is it just one role as a special agent?
So my role at my GBI officer in Statesboro Region 5 is that of a crime scene specialist.
And where is Region 5? What does that cover?
It's in Statesboro. We cover a 10-county area. The GBI is divided into regional offices. There's 15 throughout the state. They cover usually about 10 counties per office. Our office covers 10 counties, and it ranges from Jenkins and Scriven County up north down the eastern part of the state to Chatham and Liberty.
Does that include McIntyre and Liberty counties?
It includes Liberty, but not McIntyre.
Okay, so Region 5 would have covered the location of the first recovery?
Correct.
Okay. And as a GBI agent, you indicated that you're as a crime scene investigator, is that correct?
Crime scene specialist, yes, ma'am.
My apologies, crime scene specialist. And in that role, is there any specialized training for that in addition to your basic course?
Yes, ma'am. One of the reasons why the GBI assigns certain agents to serve as crime scene specialists is because there's a lot of technical knowledge that has to be applied to our role, and because of that training and some of the experience needed to function well in that role, takes some time to accumulate. So we conduct monthly trainings every month, and there's also an onboarding process that involves week-long trainings at a time that involve basic training in crime scene investigation, but also documentation issues like crime scene photography and the like.
Did you receive specialized training in each of those individual sciences and areas that you just described?
I did.
So is there special training for actually how to take crime scene pictures?
Sure.
Okay, and did you get that training?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Okay, can you tell the jury what's the difference between the GBI then and, for example, Spreadman?
So, of course, the Sheriff's Office in Georgia is a constitutional laws. They're responsible for enforcing laws in the unincorporated areas of the county and for maintaining the county jail. They're also to assist local agencies with anything that they might need in the way of investigation. We do not have original jurisdiction, meaning we need to be requested to come in and help with an investigation.
So you don't come unless asked?
For most things, no. We do have, by statute, a few things that we can initiate an investigation on, like drugs, a few things like that. But for the most part, we have to be asked to come in and help with an investigation by a sheriff or chief of police or sometimes a district attorney.
Okay. And in that role as the GBI agencies, would that be fair to say then that there are partnerships with local agencies?
Oh, absolutely.
Can you explain to the jury how that works?
So, for myself, I worked in Scriven County for a very long time. I know the county well, but I'm not going to know Liberty County nearly as well as Liberty County deputy will. So when we come into a county, we're going to rely on our local partners to, have the lay of the land, know the people, know the geographic area, and help us. We're going to work as a partnership. We're not going to take over an investigation unless an agency asks us to, and they need some third-party objectivity or something. An example would be an officer-involved shooting. If we were to work a case where an agency needed that objectivity, and we would come in and provide that for them, and that partnership would be very limited. In this case, we work together very well.
Okay. So would it be fair to say that you worked with other agencies in connection with this case?
Yes.
Do you know how many agencies or who they were?
Not right away. We work with other local partners, state and federal agencies.
Okay. And did that include the Liberty County Sheriff's Office?
Yes, ma'am, it did.
Okay. When did you become first a crime scene investigator?
I was employed in that role from the very beginning of my employment at GBI.
And when was that?
In June of 2021.
Okay, so in June of 2021, but that was after you had already had 21 years in law enforcement, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. As a crime scene specialist at the GBI, you had that role, but before, when you were with Spreadman, did you have occasion to handle crime scenes as well?
Yes, ma'am. That was also one of my primary responsibilities as Sheriff's Office, was responding to crime scenes as well as investigating them. So, as a patrol deputy, I responded to crime scenes that we refer to as being in progress, the crimes that were still occurring when we received a call about them. And I also responded to many calls of crime scenes that were discovered after the fact, and then was responsible for that investigation.
Okay. Are you familiar with chain of custody?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell the jury what chain of custody means?
So chain of custody is just being able to account for an item from the time we pick it up at a crime scene to the time it is presented in court later on, if needed.
And why is chain of custody important in your role?
We want to make sure that the same thing that we picked up at a crime scene is the same thing that we show the jury in the courtroom.
And are there specific procedures in place to do that?
Yes, ma'am.
And are those the procedures that you were required to know how to follow?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you follow those procedures in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And specifically, were you in that capacity as a crime scene specialist on December 2nd of 2022?
I was.
Okay. Can you tell us, have you received any specialized training in addition to that initial course with respect to crime scene processing itself?
Yes, ma'am. Crime scene processing is very broad and can encompass many things. So, again, we train in many different areas. There are certain things that are basic procedures, that are documentation, like report writing, taking photographs, so that can become kind of advanced too. And that progresses on through utilizing the different pieces of equipment that we have that requires some technical training to use 3D laser scanners or small unmanned aerial systems like drones that we use to take photographs, and also the chemical processes that we employ to process scenes.
Okay. And would that include something called Blue Star?
Yes, ma'am. That's one of the chemicals we use to search for blood.
Okay. Did you receive specialized training in how to actually process evidence collection and the crime scene specifically?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you receive specialized training with generalized blood spatter?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And the use of Blue Star?
Yes, ma'am.
So you have specialized training in each of those areas for that accountability in connection to this case?
Yes, ma'am.
And of course, that training was before you started this case, correct?
Some of it was. We touched on some of it, and since then I've had some more advanced training.
Would it be fair to say that you continue to train all the time?
Yes, ma'am. We train again at least one day per month, and then usually several times a year we'll have weekly trainings.
Is that in
week-long
addition?
trainings.
My apologies. Is that in addition to all of the crime scenes that you actually respond to?
Yes, ma'am.
Approximately how many crime scenes do you think you've processed roughly in a year?
In a year?
Sure.
I'm not really a statistician, but any given year, 25 to 30 would be a roundabout number. Some cases involve more than one scene. Some cases that we receive requests for don't have a crime scene. So those numbers are a little difficult to keep track of without specifically counting.
And within a crime scene, is it fair to say that sometimes there are many, many items that might be recovered?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
So in an individual crime scene, there may be hundreds even of items that you're recovering?
There can be.
Okay. Now, do you ever assist at crime scenes as opposed to being lead?
Yes, ma'am. Oftentimes you'll hear questions asked about crime scene that ask for a specific answer, and it's kind of a running joke with our unit. The answer is usually it depends. So there's so many different circumstances that we run into that almost every situation is unique. We are trained to recognize certain patterns and apply certain techniques if needed, but no two crime scenes are the same. So with that in mind, one of the things we do first when we get to a crime scene is conduct an evaluation of that crime scene to determine what resources we need to adequately address it. In order to conduct that examination, if it's a large scene, or if it's a scene that's located in an area where we may not have as much time to access the scenes as we want to, then we're going to need to work very quickly, and we may need to deploy more personnel to get that done.
If you needed assistance, would you be able to ask for help?
Yes, ma'am.
And that would be potentially where you might be the one that's lead versus someone else being assist?
Correct.
Okay. And being the lead crime scene specialist, what responsibilities does that place on you?
So we're responsible as the lead crime scene to kind of direct the course of the crime scene investigation itself. The GBI takes a team approach when we accept a request for investigation. We'll have a case agent who acts much like a quarterback for a team. He's going to be the person, or she's going to be the person who's going to go through and kind of direct the other agents and where to spend their efforts. And then adjust accordingly as new information becomes available. And in the crime scene role, we do the same thing. As a lead agent, you're going to be the one responsible for working that crime scene, making sure that the items of evidence that are found there are documented properly, and that they're collected and preserved in a manner that's going to allow them to be examined later on, either by us, back at our office in our crime scene work area, or at the crime lab.
And specifically, have you ever testified before on crime scene evidence collection?
Yes.
Have you testified in respect to crime scene investigations?
Yes, ma'am.
And can you give us an idea of how many times?
Again, I'm not a statistician. I've testified many times to crimes of a less serious nature at the sheriff's office. More than 50, less than 100. I hate to do that general.
No, that's fair. So approximately between 50 and 100. Okay. And have you ever been qualified as an expert in crime scene evidence collection and investigation?
I've not been qualified as an expert in
Have you ever been asked to?
that. No, ma'am.
Have you ever been denied?
No, ma'am.
So would it be fair to say today is the first time you're being asked to do so?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, at this time, the state offers crime scene specialist Brett Dickerson as an expert in the fields of crime scene investigation, crime scene evidence collection, and general blood spatter.
Does the defense counsel wish to take the witness on board?
Just briefly on the issue of blood spatter. Good morning, I'm Doug Weinstein, I represent Mr. Kassotis.
Can you tell me about your training in blood spatter?
Yes, sir. So we have, during the basic or introduction courses, both at Basic Agent Academy as well as the more in-depth training that we received initially as crime scene specialists, we discussed the role of bloodstain pattern analysis in investigations and what it can do to advance those investigations. And then later on, we've had bloodstain pattern analysis courses that allow us to determine some things about how bloodstains are formed, the mechanics of it, and how to interpret them.
You said how blood stains are formed. Are you specifically speaking to spatter or?
Spatter is a type of blood stain. Yes, sir.
So when you say blood stains, it incorporates spatter plus other types of stains?
Correct. Blood stain would be a more general term. Spatter is a specific type of stain.
Okay. I have no other questions, Your Honor. And I have no objection to this witness being admitted as an expert.
Please restate the areas that you wish to have qualified.
Your Honor, those were listed as crime scene investigation, crime scene evidence collection, and general blood spatter.
By stipulation, the court qualifies the witness as an expert, he can give his opinions.
Were you on duty on December 2nd of 2022?
Yes, ma'am, I was on call.
Can you tell us what on call means?
I can. So during regular work hours, which are usually 8:30 to 5, Monday through Friday, we receive a call for a scene and we respond directly from the office. However, crime doesn't always happen at convenient times, so we have an on-call schedule. Myself and another crime scene specialist share that burden, so usually about 50% of the time, I'm required to be on call. And on-call status with GBI means I need to be able to return to a ready state of being able to respond directly to a scene of a crime within about 30 minutes or so of receiving the notification.
Were you on call on December 2nd of 2022?
Yes, ma'am, I was.
Can you tell us, without giving us any details, how far away from Riceboro, Liberty County, were you at on December 2nd, 2022?
Yes, ma'am. Well, I still live in Sylvania. I left the sheriff's office, I didn't move, so with Scripps County being in our region, it's at the very north end, and Liberty County is at the other end, so it's almost 2 hours to get down, depending on traffic.
Did you get in your car?
I can. It would have been about 9:15 that evening.
Do you know who, at the time, it was that contacted you with regards to that location?
The case agent in this case is Special Agent Tracy Sands of our office.
Okay, and is he the one that contacted you?
I believe one of the supervisors actually called me to notify me to respond, but he was the point of contact for the case.
Okay, and can you tell the jury what the lead agent on a case, what that actually means?
Sure. So again, with the kind of cases that we work, sometimes with the complexity and the scope thereof is more than one agent will necessarily be able to handle effectively by themselves. So we'll have a case agent who kind of serves like a quarterback for a team. He or she will direct the course of that investigation and assign resources as needed and collaborate with the supervisors to make sure the investigation can be handled properly. And ultimately, they're also going to be responsible for tying everything together and presenting a court case.
So would he be somebody that would direct you as to things potentially that he wanted with respect to a case?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And where did you go to assist in that investigation specifically?
I met him at the intersection of Jones Road and an unnamed hunting club road that was on the Portal Hunting Club near Riceboro in Liberty County.
Your Honor, may we approach?
Agent Dickerson, did you bring anything with you here today to testify? Meaning your materials?
Yes, ma'am.
What did you bring?
The case reports that generated during the course of the investigation.
Okay. I'm just going to ask you, if you have difficulty recollecting something, just let us know.
Sure.
And if you could just push those off to the side for the time being.
Sure thing.
If you don't recall something, please just let us know and you'll be able to refresh your recollection. Just let me know you need to.
Sure thing.
Would it be fair to say that this incident happened some time ago?
It did.
Okay. Do you take reports for a reason?
Yes, ma'am.
What's that reason?
So we document things in order to make sure that the facts of the case are preserved and then presented later on in court in an accurate fashion.
Okay, so when you are doing a crime scene, are you doing it in time, simultaneous to what you're doing at the scene, those documents?
Oh, no, ma'am. We produce notes, and we use those notes to generate our reports later on.
Okay, so you're taking notes when it's happening, and then you put those into a report later?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Is that to assist and help with your recollection?
Yes, ma'am. It's taught to us that the dullest pencil is better than the sharpest memory. So.
Fair enough. Now, you indicated that you went down to Riceboro and you met Agent Sands. Is that right? And you said, what time was that approximately?
About 9:15.
Okay. And when you got there, can you describe the scene for the jury of what you saw when you got there?
Sure. There really wasn't much to see. This is an intersection of County Maintained Road and Jones Road, and then an unnamed hunting club road. The hunting club road was equipped with a metal swing gate that was open at the time, and the hunting club road was very well maintained. It was had some deep ditches on either side of it, and it was fairly dry. It had a lot of rain in the area. Just prior to that, the area was very wooded.
Okay. So when you got there, did you see any people other than the terrain itself?
I did. There were some deputies, don't know their names, but they were securing the scene, outside the scene, controlling traffic on Jones Road, and they had put up some crime scene barrier tape that denoted outside of the crime scene at the intersection, and were keeping people off of the hunting club road itself.
Okay. And were there any civilian on the scene, if you recall, by the time you got there?
While I was there, not until later.
Okay. So when you first arrive on the scene and you see all this, do you have occasion to speak with Agent Sands?
I did.
Okay. And what do you normally do when you arrive at a homicide scene generally?
So in order to understand the scope of the scene and what's going to be needed to properly examine the crime scene, we have to know a little bit about what happened. And what we normally do is call an initial briefing. We'll meet with the case agent, or perhaps a requesting agency or representative thereof, and talk with them about what the case needs, what's going on, what the circumstances are, so we can make some determinations early on about what we need.
Okay, did you have that kind of a briefing?
We did.
And can you tell the jury what, if any, physical things you did in terms of measurements and photographs to initially assess the scene?
So one of the very first things we do at any crime scene is go ahead and take photographs. Those photographs serve as documentation of the scene as we found it. And that's before we start manipulating anything in the scene. We'll go ahead and take those pictures. So again, we find things as we determine. Now, we can't always say that we're going to go into the scene and things haven't been touched or moved, because we don't generally respond to scenes first. But we will document them as we find them, as we respond.
Okay. And so would it be fair to say that it's kind of like an overview of the scene?
Correct.
Okay. Do you subsequently take far more detailed photographs?
Yes, ma'am. We generally start at overall photographs, which would depict the scene, the overall scene where the incident took place, and then we'll move in and photograph other things, be it the victim or individual items of evidence.
Did you do both of those in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you give us a rough idea of approximately how many pictures you took?
I believe on the initial scene it was 111, right around there.
Okay. And did you subsequently take additional photographs?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Okay. In total, do you have any idea how many photographs you took in connection with this case?
It was not exactly, but it was more than 700.
Okay. So more than 700 total pictures?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And clearly, have I asked you to bring all 700 pictures to show you?
No, ma'am.
Okay. But are those available?
Yes, ma'am.
And they were made available?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, specifically, do you know how long after the body was first located that you responded, if you know?
I don't know right offhand. I understand that the body was discovered late that evening, and then we received a call after the Liberty County Sheriff's Office investigators had had a chance to respond and do their initial evaluation and decide to request us for assistance.
Do you know who the agent in charge of the Liberty County Sheriff's Office side of the investigation was?
The investigator, to my knowledge, it was coordinating from their side. They had a lieutenant there, Tracy Jennings, but investigator Jack Frost was the one that was assigned to the case, from my understanding.
So he was their lead case agent at Liberty County?
That's my understanding.
Okay. And can you explain to the jury what evidence placards are?
Yes, ma'am. They're just the markers that you might see, and they're almost generic at this point to denote a crime scene. But if you ever see the little yellow tents that have black numbers on them that we place on the ground to denote where evidence items are located, we use those for a couple of reasons, but the primary reason is just to show spatial relationships and photographs between where items of evidence were located, and then also to provide those items with a number for reference later on.
How many crime scenes, we're talking first about the decedent's remains, how many crime scenes did you process with respect to her body?
Well, there were two in regards to the remains, and then additional scenes in regards to other aspects of the investigation, items that we believe to have been used in the scene.
So let me be more clear. Do you recall how many portions of her remains total were recovered?
There were 4 altogether, yes, ma'am.
And how many of those did you process?
2.
Okay. And in those 2 that you processed, which 2 portions of her remains did you process?
I processed her torso and her left leg.
Okay. And with respect to those portions, do you know when those were? Obviously, you've told us December 2nd of 2022. Do you recall when the second date was that you processed the second portion of the body that you handled?
The left leg was located on December 5th,
okay.
2022.
Do you know if there was another leg recovered in between?
Yes, ma'am, there was.
Okay. And with respect to each of those occasions, was someone present, even though you didn't process those other 2 scenes, was there also a law enforcement agent present on those 2 other dates?
Yeah, to the best of my knowledge, yes, ma'am.
It just wasn't you?
It just wasn't me.
Okay. And do you know where those remains were transported after they had been processed and recovered?
Yes, ma'am. So in each county where you have a suspicious death like this one, county coroner will respond and take those remains into custody and will be responsible for preserving them and transporting them to the lab for autopsy, medical examiner's office.
Okay. So anytime there's a suspicious death?
Yes, ma'am. The Georgia Death Investigation Act outlines some, but any suspicious death, unattended deaths, suicides, things of that nature, that would be, the coroner will respond and be responsible for making determinations about some of those, and then we're involved when autopsies are needed.
Okay. And were they, in fact, those remains of what ultimately is determined to be Mrs. Kassotis are recovered? Do they all go with the coroner to the crime laboratory eventually?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. How do you know that those were her remains?
Well, I attended the autopsy of the remains, and they were eventually we utilized some DNA techniques to.
And perhaps this sounds foolish, but was it clear that they were the remains of a human being?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Ultimately, was her entire body recovered?
Yes, ma'am.
And what pieces would that comprise?
Her torso was located first, then her right leg, her left leg, and finally on the 7th of December, her head.
Can you tell the jury why you were not present for the other 2 days?
At the time, I was, we had one of our other crime scene specialists leave to join a federal agency, so I was the only crime scene specialist assigned to our office at the time. Unlike TV, we don't get to work just one case at a time, so we had been working on this case, and things were unfolding fairly rapidly. I live a couple hours away, so it was easier and quicker, in this case for Agent Sands and some of the other agents who live closer to respond in order to take custody of the other parts that were found.
But there was someone from law enforcement there to do so, correct?
Correct.
Now, you indicated that there was more than one crime scene, and I was referring to the remains. Was there another crime scene that you also processed?
Yes, ma'am.
Where was that?
311 East 65th Street in Savannah, Georgia.
Okay, and why were you at that location?
This was after Mindi had been identified as the victim in this case, and investigation determined at that point that around the time that we believe she was killed, she and her husband Nicholas were living at that residence.
Okay. So I'm just gonna start first with her remains and we'll finish later with the house, okay? In preparation for your testimony here today, did you create a PowerPoint?
I did.
And in that PowerPoint, can you tell the jury what did you depict inside of that PowerPoint?
Well, there's photographs, and I tried to lay them out in order that would make the most sense as far as understanding the context in which the crime scenes occurred, where these items were found, and which items were located.
Okay, and before your testimony here today, did you have an opportunity to look at that PowerPoint presentation?
I did.
And are each of the photographs that are depicted inside of that PowerPoint presentation, which, Your Honor, I'm going to ask to have marked as states 1.1 for identification. I would note that this has been shown in its entirety, Your Honor, to counsel prior to this witness's testimony. I would fix that sticker on the tag that is associated with that USB. Did you place that onto that USB, sir?
I believe I conveyed to Agent Sands who did so.
Okay, but you viewed it and you made sure that everything that's in there is slides that you're familiar with?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and are those photographs all fair and accurate depictions of what you observed and or collected personally on December 2nd and December 5th of 2022?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. There's also additional photographs from the house, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you recall the date that those photographs were?
If I may refer to my notes, I believe it was May 4th and May 5th, were the 2 days that we were at the East 65th Street address.
If you need to refresh your recollection, please go ahead.
I'm good.
Okay. So sometime around May 4th or 5th of 2023?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And are all of those pictures fair and accurate representations?
They are.
Your Honor, I would at this time seek to introduce states 1.1. Your Honor, I'm now going to seek to publish them. There are some slides, Your Honor, that are afoul of the service I indicated to counsel that I will try to give everybody a warning so we can turn off devices. Now, specifically, can we turn that on? If you could just let me know when you can see it. Can you see that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you see initial slide 1?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And what does that slide represent?
I see just the initial scene title.
Okay. Did you write that title?
I did.
Okay. And when you say initial scene, what are you referring to?
This was the original call that we received to respond to at the very beginning of the investigation.
Would that be December 2nd of 2022?
It was.
Okay. And by the time you got there, was it light out or dark out?
Oh, it was very dark.
Okay. So this photo that's coming up next, is it light or dark out?
It's dark outside.
Okay. Were you there beyond the day of December 2nd, 2022?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you come back to that location?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you take additional photographs?
We did.
Tell the jury how you captured the photographs that are not on ground level.
So one of the instruments we have at our disposal when we need to take crime scene photographs is particularly good for adding context to a scene are drones. We can take drones, fly them up to around 400 feet above ground level, and then take photographs of the overall area. And it's very helpful in showing where items were found and where an incident took place.
Does it also show the relation of items to each other?
It can.
Okay. And did you do drone photographs in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Was there any other type of aerial photography used in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
What type was that?
Agent Sands was able to produce photographs from a helicopter.
So a helicopter flew over this area?
Yes, ma'am. A helicopter can fly much higher than a drone.
Okay. So they go way over 400 feet?
They do.
Okay. And were those captured as well?
They were.
Okay. Now, I'm going to ask, Your Honor, if I can publish just throughout, if that's okay. Thank you. I'm now showing you slide 2. Do you recognize that slide?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
What's depicted in that slide?
That is Jones Road there from the bottom right of the photograph moving up to the top right. And then the unnamed Hunting Club Road there, the Portal Hunting Club Road, intersects that road in the news. This view is actually pretty much straight on to the north. You'll see the Hunting Club Road moves away from Jones Road to the west-northwest.
And all of those woods, what are they of?
Our investigation showed that this area was part of a managed timber company's holdings and was leased to the Portal Hunting Club for hunting purposes.
So would it be fair to say that the property is not actually owned by Portal Hunting Club, but they just have a right to use it?
Correct.
And the actual managed agency that you're referring to, what's their business?
They produce timber products.
So they log this territory?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And would it be fair to say that some of what you see in this photograph goes potentially even beyond portal hunting?
Yes, ma'am. I
Okay.
believe
Are
so.
there adjacent lots to the portal area?
Yes, ma'am.
And what were those?
Those are also managed timber areas.
Okay, so all of this area is just timber.
This was the middle of the woods.
Okay. And those roads, the one that on the left of this photograph specifically, why is that relevant?
I beg your pardon?
That road on the left side of this photograph, what road was that?
That's actually the hunting club lane there where the torso was recovered.
Okay, so would it be fair to say that that is not actually on the main road, but rather inside of the hunting area?
Correct.
Okay, and this photograph then would have been taken after December 2nd of 2022?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and I'm asking that because it's light out, is that correct?
It was taken on the 5th.
Thank you. Okay. I'm now showing you photograph 3. Can you tell the jury what that is?
Yes, ma'am. That's looking, that's standing on Jones Road. The orange posts there are the swing gate that covers that area. You can see that it's open at the time. And that's the crime scene tape that had been placed across the road there to denote the area as a crime scene. But that is a view looking down the road there from Jones Road toward the hunting club.
Can you tell us why there are 2 sets of crime scene tape?
Well, generally speaking, it's a good practice to have an inner crime scene or a critical inner area that you want to protect the most, and then an outer crime scene to kind of keep folks back. And in practice, it's best to have a large area because if you let folks walk right up onto the crucial thing, you might have items that are disturbed or destroyed. So it's a good practice to go ahead and denote 2 different areas, one that's kind of okay to enter and then another that you absolutely want to stay out of.
Okay. And with respect to this crime scene, did you ultimately determine how long the torso had been at the scene before it had been discovered?
We were given a good estimate.
Okay. Would it be fair to say that that was longer than days?
Correct.
Okay. So by that point, would it be fair to say that there had already been traffic on that roadway before the torso was even found?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So did you attempt to limit any additional exposure?
As much as possible to, again, to the torso itself. When that part of Mindi was found, we did limit that part of it. But at this point, you're dealing with an area that has received lots and lots of through traffic and also been exposed to the elements as well.
When you say exposed to the elements, what was it like that right around December 2nd of 2022?
It was cool out. It was, if I may refer to my notes, I can tell you the exact temperature.
It's okay. Can you give us a rough estimate?
It was high 50s
Okay.
at the time.
Was there any precipitation?
There was a lot of rain in the area. We spoke with Liberty County deputies that informed us that the area received heavy rainfall in the days leading up to the investigation.
And in that time period, you indicated that there was a lot of rain. Was there anything that you observed visually that gave you reason to believe that beyond the deputies?
There was standing water in the ditches.
Okay. And at that point, when the standing water was in the ditches, you ultimately, do you take that into account in your crime scene investigation? Does that impact you at all?
The water?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we need to plan for it, but I went in the water in this particular case in order to recover a torso.
What did you have to put on?
Some protective equipment.
Okay.
We generally use suits made from a material called Tyvek, and it just protects us from biological hazards and things like that we might encounter in a crime scene.
So did you actually don the full suit to get into the water to try and get her remains out?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm gonna move to slide 4. Does that show the intersection of that roadway and where that gate was?
Yes, ma'am.
Who drew this?
I did.
Okay, did you use a computer to assist you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and that orange mark at the bottom, can you tell us, or I should say at the bottom, in the middle of the photograph, can you tell us what that is?
That's just the metal swing gate that I mentioned before. It's just a representation of where it was.
Okay, and is that what we saw in the last photos?
Yes, ma'am. So those placards were assigned to items of evidence that were located as we continued our crime scene search. These sketches are deliberately simplistic because we use them primarily to denote or demonstrate the location where items were found and the spatial relationships between those items.
Okay, so with respect to each of these placards, 1, 2, 3, all the way through 7, are those items that you personally recovered?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and when I use the word recovered, can you tell the jury what that means?
So finding evidence at a crime scene, we find things that may be of interest. We use the information that we have at hand from our briefing and from things that we observe to determine whether or not the items that are in the location that we see are of any import to the case. There were things that we observed that were just trash on the side of the road, things like that weren't important. But as we searched, we did come across these items that we felt like were pertinent and were important to the investigation. So we made sure to mark them, photograph them, and document them where they were, and then collect them later on as evidence.
Do you know what items are important when you start your investigation?
It's difficult to determine. One of the answers that we get a lot of times when we ask a crime scene related questions, well, it depends. And in this case, we knew there were going to be some things that were important. Sometimes you look for things that are just out of place. And in this case, some of these things, when we get to the photographs, so you'll see definitely look out of place.
Okay, so do you try to capture everything that seems like it may be relevant?
Yes, ma'am. One of the reasons we take so many photographs is because it's impossible for us to know on the front of an investigation every single little thing that's going to be important later on. So we take a lot of photographs. We do a lot of documentation because we never know what might be important later on.
And those placards were, can you just tell the jury just generally what was at those placards that are depicted as 1 through 7?
Yes, ma'am. Prepared legends, I may refer to it.
Okay, please.
So item number 1 was a black and color Husky storage container, you might hear it referred to as a tote. Number 2 was a Milwaukee brand fixed blade sheath knife. Number 3 was a cleaning wipe, kind of like a Lysol or a Clorox wipe. I'm not sure of the brand in this case. Number 4 was a piece of torn or cut gray cloth. Number 5 was also a piece of torn or cut gray cloth. Number 6 was a black plastic trash bag that contained some clothing items that were stained with reddish brown stains, and also had some cleaning wipes inside the bag. And then number 7 also denoted the location of some cleaning wipes that were found.
And ultimately, that legend was created by you as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm now turning to slide number 5. Can you tell us what the difference is on this slide versus the other slides, if there's something depicted here?
Yes, ma'am. If you look in the bottom left-hand corner there, you see the black tote that was found, and it was marked with placard number 1. And you can see its relationship there to that orange swing gate post that you saw in the first photograph.
Can you tell the jury how far that is from the roadway?
Not far at all from the roadway. About 10 feet or so.
Okay. And can you tell the jury how far that is ultimately from where the torso with the arms was recovered?
The torso was located at approximately 650 feet from the intersection down the Hunting Club Road and off into the ditch.
So as we're looking at this photograph, would it be fair to say that's the left side of the swing gate, if you're facing the gate?
Yes, ma'am. We generally use cardinal directions. It was the southwest corner of the intersection.
My apologies. If you went straight down that side of the road.
Correct. If with your back to Jones Road looking at the Hunting Club Trail, it would have been on the left-hand side, yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so, can you see if there is that kind of incline? Can you describe it for the jury?
Yes, ma'am. Again, this road was fairly well maintained for a hunting club road, sure. It had been improved with gravel and had some deep ditches that had been dug in place. And in this case, the ditch was a little more shallow here and didn't have nearly as much water in it. The ground was damp around the tote, but it was navigable without having to put on a Tyvek suit.
Okay, and when you got farther down that left side of the roadway that you described, and you came up on the torso, how does that ditch change, if at all?
That ditch gets deeper, a lot deeper.
How tall are you, sir?
I'm 6'3".
And when you got in the ditch, how deep did you have to get in, up to where on your body approximately?
I was in pretty much to almost my knees.
Okay, and at that point, you were able to access her remains?
I was.
Okay, we have now slide number 6 that I'm showing. Is that another image of that tote?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there anything additional that's depicted in that photograph other than just the tote?
Yes, ma'am. If you look carefully at the tote and then to the right and upwards in the frame of the photograph, you'll see the orange handle of the knife blade and the black sheath that it was inside of, along with the clean white that was wrapped around the handle when we found it.
Are you referring to this item right here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and you indicated that that was the knife, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. That was a Milwaukee knife, fixed blade knife.
Okay, what is a fixed blade knife? What does that mean?
So folded knives, which you might consider a pocket knife, where the blade actually folds into the handle and is safe to carry in your pocket. A fixed blade knife generally requires a sheath to carry safely, but a fixed blade knife doesn't bend. The blade is fixed in place onto the handle.
And with respect to this fixed blade knife, was there anything on the blade itself?
There was a clean white wrapped around the handle and partially around the top of the blade where it met the handle.
Okay, and that black thing that you see, what is that?
That's a plastic sheath.
Okay, so that's not actually the blade itself, that's the sheath over the blade?
Correct.
Okay. I'm now showing you slide number 7. Do you recognize that slide?
Yes, ma'am.
What's depicted there?
That's after, as you noted in the first photograph, you saw that the container was in that location when it was found face down. Essentially, we turned it on its side, and I was able to take photographs of the interior of it.
Why did you take photographs of the interior?
Because there was a reddish brown liquid inside of it.
Can you tell the jury what a swab is?
Yes, ma'am. When we need to take samples at a crime scene of an unknown stain or something, we generally use medical sterile swabs. It's just a cotton swab, like a Q-tip with a long handle, and then we can preserve those swabs later on and send them to the crime lab for testing.
Is that what you're referring to that you did in respect to that brownish stain in this tub?
In this case, yes, ma'am, though we use that swab for field testing purposes.
Okay. Now you used the phrase field testing. I'm going to show you slide 8. Can you explain to the jury what's depicted in slide 8?
Yes, ma'am. So that's a presumptive blood test that we use to determine in the field whether or not an unknown stain might be blood. In this case, that particular chemical is called phenethylene, and we use it because when it's combined with blood in the presence of hydrogen peroxide, it produces that pink color, and that's indicative of the presence of blood in the sample.
It's fair to say not every reddish brown stain is blood?
Sure, but not all of them are blood, and that's why we have those stains, the field test kits, so we can determine the course of our investigation, what we need to do next with an item of evidence.
So if something wasn't blood, would that potentially impact what you did next in your investigation?
It could.
Okay. And if you turned out that it was blood, would that also potentially impact your decisions?
Absolutely.
Okay. You said that this would simply say that it was actually blood. Is that right?
It gives us a good idea. It's kind of like a pregnancy test. I mean, you go to the drugstore, you get a pregnancy test, it'll tell you if you're pregnant or not, but you're going to want to follow up with your doctor. The same thing with us. We're going to take this and we're going to test it, but we're also going to make sure that we get to the lab and get confirmation later on.
Okay. So this is just kind of while you're at the scene, a way to kind of have a sense of what's going on?
Yes.
Okay. Now, other than a presumptive test for blood, can you do other types of tests for blood in the scene?
We can.
What type is that?
So tests like phenethylene are used to identify the potential for a stain that we've already seen and just tell if it's blood or not, or give us an idea if it's blood or not. However, if we need to search for blood within a scene, if we're looking for blood that's not readily available or obvious, at first glance that we can use chemicals to search for that. And there's several different kinds, but the one we use in this case is called Blue Star.
Okay. Did you also make any tests to determine if the blood stains that you recovered were human in nature?
Yes, ma'am.
And what kind of a test is that?
So Blue Star is actually a brand name. It contains the chemical limonol, so I don't want to get too confused. There's one Blue Star that's used to search for blood, but then Blue Star OBTI is an actual field test to determine whether or not a particular blood stain may be human or not.
Okay, so I'm now showing you slide 9. Can you tell the jury what's depicted here?
Yes, ma'am. This is a Blue Star OBTI test, and we took a sample of the substance that was inside the container and exposed it to this field test, and the test returned a positive result for human blood.
So first you determine, is it blood, and then you determine, is it human blood?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and is that always the procedure, in that order?
Generally, that would be the way you want to do it.
Okay, and with respect to what you observe, that's the test itself, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And when you did that test, that was on which container?
This was on the black container.
The one that we just observed in the previous slides?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm now going to show you slide 10. Would that be fair to say that's a close-up of that knife you described earlier?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm now going to zoom in on that. Does that give a better picture?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And is that describe what you see there for the jury?
So that's a Milwaukee knife that we observed that was over in the woods, kind of behind the black container that was located. There was a clean white wrapped around the handle and partially around the blade itself. And then we noticed that the blade that had been placed.
Had not yet been moved.
No, ma'am.
I'm now showing you slide 11. What is depicted there?
This was a clean white that was found not far away from the knife. If the 2 points of the triangle were the container and the knife, this would be the third point of the triangle. They're fairly close together.
Okay. And that, when you're saying the triangle, are you referring back to that legend?
Just the spatial relationships between the items, that's all. Just where they were at.
Approximately how far were they from each other?
Feet, not far at all.
Okay. And now I'm showing you slide 12. Can you tell the jury what's depicted in this slide?
So this is the northwest side of the intersection. This is going to be the right-hand side of the intersection if you have your back to Jones Road looking down the Hunt Road. Those items hanging from the branches there were cleaning wipes, and then there were more cleaning wipes also on the ground there to the right in the bottom right-hand side of the frame.
Okay. So all of those white substances, are those all cleaning wipes?
I'd have to go back and look at the photographs. Some of that was trash. You can see there, that's some kind of cardboard that was on the side of the road. Again, this is a dirt road. There were lots of beer cans, Coke bottles, and all kinds of stuff that had been thrown out as litter. There were 2 CRTTs out there, not too far from where this was found. But that was one of the things we had to do, was kind of sort between what was trash and what was of potential value.
So anything that you thought might be potential value, did you include that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Your Honor, the next slide will be something that I cannot publish. So if we can. I can publish it just in compliance with your order.
Yes, ma'am.
Now showing you slide 13. Can you tell us what's depicted in this slide?
So this is placards 4, 5, 6, and 7. 2 of the placards are a little hard to see, but the closest one there is number 4. That would be one of the pieces of torn or cut gray cloth. 5 was also that. You can see 6 off there in the back. That would be the black plastic trash bag that had items inside of the clothing that was stained, cut, as well as some more of the cleaning wipes.
So this would have been the southeast corner still?
This is the northwest corner.
My apologies, northwest.
Just the opposite side from, so left side was the first side, right side was the second side.
My apologies, I'm not the best at a compass. So when that occurred, you captured each of those?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And did you preserve each of those items that is listed with a placard?
Yeah, I didn't hang a placard in a tree to show the cleaning wipe that was hanging there from the branch, but yes, ma'am, they were all marked, and the cleaning wipes are generally associated with placard number 7.
Okay. Were they collected physically afterwards?
They were.
Okay. And have you brought them here today?
I have.
Okay. I'm now turning to slide 14. Council, we can turn these back on. Slide 14, what is depicted?
This was the piece of gray cloth there that was cut or torn that we used placard number 4 to mark.
Okay. And at the time, did you know what that gray cloth was?
It did not. We just noticed that it was a piece of gray cloth. It was, like I said, it appeared to have either been torn or cut, and it just looked out of place.
What did you do with these items of cloth?
So because everything was still wet, the ground was wet, the grass was wet, everything out there had been rained on, the proper procedure for something like this is to place it into a paper bag, and then as soon as possible, go ahead and dry it. There are some adverse biological processes that can happen if you allow evidence to remain wet. So we try to dry it, that way we don't have mold or mildew starting that could potentially affect DNA testing or obscure bloodstain patterns and things like that.
Did you do that with respect to all of the wet garments or items of cloth that were recovered?
We did.
Tell the jury how you dry them.
So in this case, when evidence was collected, it was placed in paper evidence bags and then taken back to the Region 5 field office. We have a work area there, and inside that work area we have the dryer. That is a sterile dryer. It's got filters for the air going in and filters for the air going out. That cabinet's regularly cleaned between cases, and it was in this case also cleaned prior to the items being placed inside. In addition to that, I took some clean butcher paper and aligned the bottom of the cabinet and then placed all the wet items inside, separated by paper, and made sure that the items weren't touching each other, and then left them in there until they were dry. And that passes basically sterile air over the items until they're completely dry.
This isn't like a dryer from a washer dryer, or it is?
No, man, this is it's kind of like a closet with a hanging rag with airflow that moves through it, and that airflow is what dries the evidence out over time. There's no heat applied or anything like that. We don't want to damage the potential for any evidence that the biology section of the lab can test for, but we do want to make sure that we dry it. That way we don't have any of those deterioration processes occurring.
And does it matter that you hang it? Why do you hang it?
Well, it's the best way for air to get hold to it, or to move over it, so to speak. If we laid it flat, then it would take longer to dry.
Okay. And those butcher papers, why are they under it?
Well, as evidence dries, we want to make sure that we give ourselves every opportunity to recover evidence if we can. Things like hairs, fibers, other things may fall off of those items as they're drying. So we line that paper at the bottom of the cabinet to catch those things, and then we'll fold that up into a bundle and preserve that paper as well after the clothes dry.
Did you do that in this case?
We did.
And you saved those bundles?
We did.
Okay. I'm now going to slide 15. What's depicted there?
That's another piece of torn or cut gray cloth.
Okay. Did you preserve that in the same fashion?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm now going to slide 16. Do you see what's depicted there?
Yes, ma'am.
What's that?
That's a black plastic trash bag. It was kind of like a Force Flex or Glad bag. I'm not sure the exact make or model of it, but it was similar to the ones I've seen and used in my own home. It had a gray pull string, and in this case, this is one of the few items I actually manipulated before it was photographed, because at the time, remember, we're having to evaluate these pieces of what could be just litter on the side of the road. And in this case, I touched this bag, manipulated some of the items inside, realized it had clothing in it that was covered with reddish brown stains, and there were also more of the cleaning wipes inside the bag. So at that point, I knew it was pertinent to the case.
Okay. And that's when you documented it and stopped?
Yes, ma'am. I stopped manipulating it at that point, left it in place. I didn't move it from where it was. This is exactly where I found it. I just looked inside of it first, basically, before I photographed it.
Okay. And you indicated that was the clothing that you found inside as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you preserve the clothing?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you preserve the bag?
Yes, ma'am.
Is all that here?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm now going to slide 17. Do you see what's depicted here?
It's a clean white.
And was that in the area that, excuse me, in the area that you indicated that there were many cleaning wipes, including the ones that were hanging?
Yes, ma'am. There were a number of them in the area, including some that were draped on some of the low-hanging branches, so we just collected all of them and assigned them to placard 7.
Okay. I'm now going to slide 18. And I'm going to ask council to just turn this off at this point. I want to zoom in. Can you tell us what's depicted there?
Yes, ma'am. This is the area farther down the road on Hunting Club Road, and this is where the torso is located, where Mindy's torso was.
Okay. So when you get to this slide, can you explain to the jury, how do you get into this ditch and where it is in relationship to the roadway?
So again, this part of her remains was located about 650 feet down from the intersection there with Jones Road, and it was on the north side of the right-hand side of the lane. So moving down that far, as we moved closer, the ditches varied in depth and also varied their contents. There was standing water in some of it was just mud. In this particular area, it was mud and water that was standing there, and I had to move down into the ditch about 4 feet down or so, and then once I got in, the top of the ditch was roughly level with my head once I sunk into the mud.
Level with your head?
Yes, ma'am.
So you were about 6 feet down?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And at that point, can you describe the manner in which her body was positioned?
Yes, ma'am. We observed that the head was missing. Her legs had also been removed. We could see the femurs in her legs had been cut through and were protruding from the ends of her legs. And also her vertebra, several of the neck vertebrae were visible. They were blackened and the skin around the neck had drawn down toward the clavicles. Her right arm showed some signs of severe injury up around the shoulder area. And just in general, she was laying on her back and was heavily splattered with mud. It was difficult to really tell the extent of her injuries at that time because she had so much mud clinging to her skin.
Okay. What was the nature of her clothing at that time?
She was naked. There was no clothing recovered there.
Okay. And the only clothing recovered, how far away from the torso would it have been?
Again, that was back at the intersection, which again was about 650 feet.
Okay. And at that time, when you went down into the mud, can you describe for the jury, how does that incline work? Does it do straight drop off? Does it go down gradually?
It was a pretty steep drop off. I stepped over and used some of the nearby tree branches and the smaller brush to help navigate into the ditch. And then once I was down there, took some photographs and kind of documented and looked for any potential evidence that would have been immediately obvious before we decided to try to do any recovery.
And when you say recovery, do you mean taking her out?
Yes, ma'am. Taking her out of the ditch.
Okay. So how far was her body from the edge of the road?
Not that far, actually. Only about, I'd say between 5 and 7 feet from the edge of the roadway. It depends on how you define the edge of the roadway. She wasn't far from the side.
Okay. Was there brush on the roadway leading up to where her body was?
The roadway itself was pretty clear, but the edges of the road had brush growing up. Again, this is a very well-maintained road, but it wasn't a public road, and it wasn't maintained as a public road was maintained. It was basically a logging road that was also used for hunting.
Okay. And was there anything of note that you initially saw about her body?
Again, just that she wasn't wearing any clothes, that she was lying on her back, and that her legs and her head had been removed were the main things we observed.
Okay. Did you notice anything about the condition of the femur bones specifically?
Yes, ma'am. Once we were able to get into the ditch and look a little closer, I could tell that the bones had been cut or through with an instrument of some kind.
Okay. Is there anything of note of the manner in which they were cut to your eye?
To my eye, it appeared that they had been cut almost through and then had snapped or broken off.
Okay. And with respect to that, I'm now going to show you slide 19. What's depicted here?
That's Mindy's torso, as we discovered it.
Okay. Is that the original photograph?
Yes, ma'am.
And that's before any manipulation?
Correct, that's as she was discovered.
I'm now going to zoom into her upper right arm. Can you describe what it is that you see there?
Yes, ma'am. There's some severe injury to her arm. We weren't able to tell a lot before she was removed, and even after she was removed, it was not a 100% thing for us to determine. That's why we have a medical examiner's office to conduct autopsies. However, it appeared that the arm had been cut and the skin had been cut away from the shoulder.
Okay. I'm now showing you slide 20. What is depicted on the left side of that screen?
That's Mindy's left arm.
Okay. Was there anything interesting or notable about her hand?
Well, on both hands, the hands were there for one thing. For someone who may have been trying to obscure, identification of the body, for them to leave the hands on, and with the availability of possible fingerprints, that was something that we had to evaluate as being immediately useful to the investigation.
Did you try to evaluate the fingerprints?
Yes, ma'am. After she was removed from the ditch, we had a representative from the Georgia State Patrol respond to the scene. They have access to a system called Rapid ID, and they can actually use fingerprint technology to access someone's driver's license remotely. They can do that from anywhere that has a cell signal.
Okay. Does it allow them to basically like roll a fingerprint on a little device?
Yes, ma'am. It's a small device, handheld, and it's generally used just two of the fingers. They'll roll or press it against the screen, and it'll read and interpret that, give you an idea of who a person may be if their fingerprints are on file.
Were they?
The Rapid ID system did not return a result.
Okay. I'm now going to slide 21. What's depicted there?
That's Mindy's right leg, the area where it was removed, and that's her femur that's jutting outward from the wound there.
Now, my apologies. Can you tell us what specifically was unique about that cut on that femur?
It was pretty smooth. It was appeared to us to have been cut or sawn through.
Okay. Are you a hunter?
I am.
How long have you been hunting?
Since I was a child, single digits, a while.
Have you ever processed a deer?
Yes, ma'am, I have.
Okay. Have you ever processed a deer in this fashion?
Cutting through a major bone, I mean.
Why not?
Well, that's not the easiest way to remove a leg.
What is the easiest way?
Well, there's connective tissue surrounding the joints. The easiest way would be to cut that connective tissue and remove. If I was going to clean a deer, I would cut through the joint, and rather than try to saw through a bone.
And the femur, is that a big bone?
It's the largest bone in the human body.
And specifically, with respect to bones, when you and I were talking about this case, you gave me an example. Can you explain that example to the jury?
Yes, ma'am. And with the preface, I know this sounds distasteful and it's hard to process, but it's like eating a chicken wing. If you're going to eat a chicken wing, and when you go to pull the bones apart, you're not going to snap the bones in half. You're going to pull them apart at the joint. It's the same thing here. The soft connective tissues are there, and they're much easier to separate than it would be to actually cut through a bone.
Not trying to be distasteful at all. Is that why those would separate so easily if you simply cut the connective tissue as opposed to the bone itself?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. But that was not done here.
No, ma'am.
And would it be fair to say that the other leg looked similarly?
Yes, ma'am, they were almost identical in the way they've been removed.
I'm looking at slide number 22. What does that depict?
That's Mindy's right arm, and that's the damage that we observed to it after we removed it from the ditch, after we removed her from the ditch.
And what is that she is laying on?
That's the tarp. We, as a crime scene specialist and also the agents themselves, we all keep a number of clean tarps with us. This was a fresh tarp that had been used. We took it out of the plastic, and partially because we used it to help get her out of the ditch, and then we used it to lay her on so we could examine her before she was turned over to the coroner.
Slide 23, what's depicted?
It's an empty Marlboro cigarette pack.
And why did you take a picture of that?
To be honest, one of the deputies, I think they marked it early on during the initial response and thought it may have been of interest. But as we moved through the area, we determined there was lots and lots of litter laying around. But just to be on the safe side, because we can't go back in time and do things over again, I went ahead and collected it just in case. It was a significant distance away from the torso.
How far?
Approximately halfway back toward the intersection, away from the torso.
On the same side of the roadway or the opposite?
Around the middle.
Okay. So it was actually in the road?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm showing you slide 24. What's depicted on slide 24?
This is very similar to the first case. It's just showing a little bit farther of a zoom out, I guess you'd say. And this is showing the location where Mindy's torso was recovered there at the top. And then the intersection at the bottom of Jones Road, the unnamed wooded lane, along with those evidence placards there, 1 through 7, that were located at the intersection.
Okay. And who drew this drawing?
I drew it.
Okay. Would that be fair and accurate representation of what spatially those items roughly look like?
Right, this is an approximation just for demonstration for demonstrative purposes. This is to show the relationship between where these things were found, basically between each other.
Did you ultimately measure the distance of each of these items?
I did.
Okay. But for the purposes of this slide, it was merely to just give an approximation for the jury.
Right, this is for someone to at a glance get a good idea of where the body was recovered in relationship to the other items.
Your Honor, we actually have completed the first portion of his testimony. It appears.
We'll take a break.
Okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll go ahead and break for lunch. I've got 12:30, and I ask that you be back here in about an hour, and we'll start at 1:45. So you've got a little over an hour.